Perfect. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right. Good evening, Kyle. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today.
No, thank you. It's so nice to talk to you again and to, well, I guess, talk about IELTS with your clients. We had quite a bit of success with your clients, with Maple. And over the last 3 months, I think last time we talked was in December.
Yes,
and yeah, and yeah, it's been pretty incredible since then. So happy to chat again, get the word out, and help your clients, I guess, take those next steps towards becoming Canadian.
Perfect. So just so that people watching this actually know who this video is for, can you just give us a brief summary on who IELTS is for and who are the best people to actually go for the exams?
Perfect. So we'll start from the beginning. All right. So number one, well, my name is Kyle Broda. I'm going to be your IELTS teacher. If you are working with OB and the team at Maple,
yeah.
The IELTS exam is an English exam, to keep it simple, right? It's a mandatory English exam for Canadian immigration. So if you're thinking of immigrating to Canada, well, you have to take the IELTS exam or the CELPIP. Now, most people take the IELTS simply because it's available everywhere. CELPIP is available in a few countries. It's available in Canada as well. But IELTS is, I mean, it's worldwide, it's well known. And for a lot of you, if you're thinking of immigrating to Canada, well, it's going to be, for a lot of people, it's going to be one of the steps really for you. If you don't get the score you need in your IELTS, you might not be able to come to Canada. When you think of this in terms of education, so if you're thinking of coming to Canada to study, well, pretty much all of the, I think it's all actually, of the universities and colleges accept IELTS as proof of your language requirements. So again, it's really one of the most important steps in your journey to becoming Canadian. When you work with the team at Maple, what they're doing is assessing your profile and seeing if there is an immigration opportunity for you. How can you help the team at Maple help you become Canadian? By getting as high of a score in your IELTS exam as possible. So that's kind of the introduction. And then I'm your teacher actually for IELTS. So that's what we will discuss today.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. And also, just so I can just briefly introduce myself for people who are watching this and you've never heard of Maple Education. Maple Education is actually a consultation agency here in Lagos, Nigeria. We help students, we help people who are trying to study abroad, or in this case, Canada. We assist you in getting your admission, we assist you in getting your visas, and we also kind of assist you in the whole process to ensure you are comfortable, confident in what's been done, and ensure you get the best results. My name is Obiemeka, the maths manager, and I've seen several people, go for the IELTS course by Kyle, and they're so happy because of how amazing it really is. Like it's a very what was the word? It takes you through every single step. Like kind of tells you exactly what you need to know to ensure you get a high grade, and that's what we actually want to break down for you guys today because we believe it's going to be very valuable for you guys. So that's just a brief background there. So now, just so we could get carry on. When it comes to students in particular, what do you advise? Which kind of IELTS do you advise for students to take, Kyle?
Sure. So when you say students, we're thinking of students, I guess not students yet, but people who will come to Canada to study, right?
Yeah, potential students.
Amazing. So, I mean, Canada has, I don't have to tell you about Canadian universities and Canadian life, but for us over here at EnglishExamPrep.com, we will walk through the academic IELTS exam because you're going to take the IELTS academic if you're coming to study. The IELTS general is for immigration. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And the academic is, in some ways, it's actually more difficult than the general. So we walk you through every single little step of the way towards getting as high of a score as possible in the academic. When you get as high of a score as possible, well, it opens up all those academic institutions for you as well. So, I mean, the team at Maple has, I don't know how many schools you have in your kind of repertoire these days. It's
currently over 60. We have partnership with over 60 institutions in Canada right now.
Incredible. Yeah. And for those institutions, I mean, it depends on what you're going to study. So let's say, for example, you're going to study law. Well, the language requirements will probably be higher than if you're coming to study maybe accounting or something that's less language heavy, I guess, right? So it is, again, it is really the first step for a lot of you in opening doors to different programs. Maybe you have a dream of living in a certain province or certain city, going to a certain university. How can you do that? Well, get as high of a score in your language exam as possible. And of course, work with Maple to really make sure that you're getting expert advice. We get people, so I'm sure you get this as well. Sometimes we get people who look at a map and they say, you know what? I want to go to the Yukon. I want to go to the Yukon University. And we say, wow, very cool. Most Canadians haven't even been up there in the Arctic that far. And then you kind of tell them about that it's really cold up there. It's the Arctic, right? And then, or sometimes people will say, oh, you know, I want to go to Toronto. And you ask why, and they say, oh, I've heard of it before. That's pretty much it, right? So, and I'm part of your job at Maple, of course, is to
advice.
Say, hey, we've got all these programs across Canada. Some people love living in this city that you might not have thought of because it's, maybe more family friendly or there are great jobs everywhere and that kind of thing. So, so it is an important step, getting as high of a score in the IELTS exam as possible opens those doors because you're starting a new life in Canada and you want to, of course, have as many options as possible when you're choosing an academic program, when you're choosing a city to live in, because I don't know about your clients, Obi, if when they go and study in a certain city, do they usually stay there afterwards?
So we've noticed that, yes, majority of our students or clients who've actually gone through us, because of how we tend to advise them right from the initial stage, point of inquiry, up to the point of admission and everything, they usually tend to fall in love with cities or towns that they do study in. In very few cases, people tend to, of course, go to bigger cities to experience the city lifestyle, which is fine. But we've seen majority of our past clients tend to just stay where they are because they tend to, you've been there for 4 or 5 years, got friends, got like a close network of people already. So people tend to be comfortable with that and they just end up staying where they are.
And I think it speaks to what you do as well, right? Well, what Maple Education does is you match people with their dream city, because otherwise, if it's if you just send them kind of somewhere, then they'll move right after graduating, right? So yeah, good for you. And I guess people kind of start families and that type of thing as well, and then it's like the next generation of Maple education clients, I guess, who I guess become Canadian.
True. I mean, recently we got so many testimonials because we actually sent requests to past clients who've been in Canada for quite some time. Because Maple has actually been going for quite a lot, like a number of years. We've been in business for over 19 years now. So clients who came to us back then, we sent out requests. Hey, could you do like a quick video testimonial about Maple and your experience and everything? And when those videos came back, it was so nice to see people speak highly of not just the service, but the support the company actually provided for people, like you said, matching them with the right places, because people are very different. People are very unique, and so are universities, and so are towns and cities in Canada. So understanding people's peculiarities and what makes a city what it is, and kind of putting people at the right places does really mean a lot to them, because it makes them feel more comfortable where they end up being.
Perfect. And then for us, we have a partnership with Maple as well. And on our side, we don't work with that many companies. We're really, really selective with which companies we work with, the same way that Maple is as well. So in matching people with the perfect program, the perfect city, and of course the perfect IELTS training, that's really where we come in.
Yeah, because it's very, very crucial that you guys, our potential clients, have a very solid, data, or let's say solid record to ensure you actually do get your admission, you do get your visa into Canada. Because without, sorry, excuse me, because without your IELTS, it's seen that it's a lot, you're less likely to actually get your visa if you do not have your IELTS. So we do kind of advise every single student, undergraduates, masters, PhD, to do, take your IELTS training that's being provided by English exam prep, right? Take your IELTS training, and then of course take your examination. And of course, if you take the exam, if you take the training, you have a very high chance of getting the best grade possible.
Yep, I agree. And you had some really, really, really big news a week ago, I believe, with the 27,000 invitations to apply for under the Canadian Experience class. So I'm sure a lot of those were your clients, right? Who came to Canada, studied, got it's a CLB7 for IELTS that they needed for that. And then on the immigration side, I mean, I'm sure you guys are really, really busy. It's unprecedented in the world, I think. I think it was probably the largest draw maybe in the history of Canada, for sure. Maybe I'm thinking Australia or another country has had a larger draw than that, and I don't really think so. So I mean, that just shows you again, for all those people, if you have that IELTS score, I mean, you would have received an invitation to apply for permanent residency last week. Yeah, that's it. So you never know kind of what the government's going to do with that, but you do know that when you get as high of a score in the IELTS, well, your opportunities are as high as possible as well.
So it's fantastic. I just, because this actually came to my mind, because there might be some people who are watching this, they're hearing, oh yeah, the IELTS is very important, it's fantastic, it helps you get into Canada and stuff, which is amazing, right? But then some of them might be thinking, okay, the IELTS, like what really makes up the IELTS? Because they might be saying, oh, I've heard about the speaking, I've heard about the writing, I've heard about the listening. So for these people, can you just kind of break it down for them, the different areas that you kind of get graded on?
Absolutely, yeah. So you're going to register for your exam, I guess. You'll do the training and you'll see on exam day. So worldwide, it usually works like this. You're going to go show up to exam day. You're going to have your writing exam, then reading, then listening, all at once, all together. You'll be in, these days with COVID, it's a little bit different. You do have exam, here in Canada anyways, you have exam centers that are open. It's just more spacing, you have to wear masks and that type of thing. But it's the same, it's the exact same exam actually. The exam hasn't changed. The strategies haven't changed, of course, either. And you will go into that exam room. You're going to be in there for about 3 hours for those 3 portions. And then you will finish those 3 kind of portions of the exam. And your speaking exam is going to be usually on the same day. So you have it'll be a 20-minute time slot. It's going to be a one-on-one interview with an examiner, and you need to perform in that exam, right? So I know for a lot of Nigerians, I mean, I work with Nigerians all the time in teaching, and it's probably one of my favorite kind of groups to work with, just because a lot of Nigerians have a fantastic foundation of English knowledge. So my job becomes kind of, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's very rewarding, because I mean, I know based on the performance of a candidate, how to really, really, really link that foundation of English knowledge with the IELTS exam. So first of all, you have to know what the examiners are looking for. You have to know, of course, what to anticipate in the exam. So what's going to happen on exam day? You have to, of course, be able to deliver to the examiner exactly what they're looking for. So those are the strategies that you need to use. So once you work through the whole system that we have for you, it's 60 hours of lessons and exam simulations. And the feedback is that people, you're in the morning, you're getting ready to go into the exam. You have a lineup and you're kind of waiting to go into the exam. They'll take your picture, they'll take your finger scan. You go to your desk and you're waiting for the exam to begin. And I mean, for people who don't really know what to expect, it's going to be very, very, very stressful. You're not going to get even a good score, I would say, just because you don't really know what to expect in the exam. You're going to spend quite a bit of time in the exam just figuring out what to do, right? Versus somebody who goes through all that training. The responses and testimonials that we get are that people show up and they're excited, actually. They're excited to go into the exam and get ready to, it's like playing chess against the examiner, right? That's right. Yeah, that's it. It's like playing chess against the examiner. So you know why the examiner is asking you a certain question. You have your strategies ready to respond with. You're really ready to, and I think proud of yourself because you did the work and you are going to get as high of a score as possible.
Perfect. So I heard you did mention people who sign up for the training, you get access for, you said 90 days, right? Is that correct?
It's 60 days.
Okay, 60
days. Yeah. So you'll start your training with, oh, it's fine. Actually, 60 days is more than enough. 60 days is really the magic number because for all of you, when you're out there and you're getting ready to come to Canada, if you talk to Obi, you talk to the team at Maple, if you say, yeah, I'm ready to take my IELTS training right now, they'll sign you up on the spot right there. And that's day one. So you go home and if you're ready to work, we're here for you, right? We're all ready for you to work, to begin working, right? So you can begin your training right there on the spot. And then you will have access to those lessons for 60 days. Within those 60 days, I would say go take your exam. Register for your exam, even when you're at Maple and they're just organizing your IELTS exam preparation with us. It might be a good time to even just register for the exam. Give yourself 6 weeks, register for that exam. Within those 6 weeks, do the lessons and get it done, really. Be proactive with this, right? Because I'm sure you get people, Obi, who come to you and they say, oh, I'm ready to go to Canada. I'm ready to do this. And then you say, okay, perfect. Well, when you're ready for the IELTS training, we're here for you. Do you want to begin today? Do you want to begin right now? No. I'm going to, I'll wait a little bit. And then I'm sure they come back to you like a year later, right? And they say, Obi, now I'm ready. I'm ready to go to Canada now. And we could have been there already.
Yeah, I think that's just a natural, sometimes people just want to procrastinate. They kind of give them think done already, but you really are. Yeah. Just a matter of your mindset and just making sure you kind of put the necessary steps in.
Yeah, and I think for some people from Nigeria as well, because obviously there's such an incredible English language foundation that a lot of people have. So people think, yeah, I can watch movies in English, I can have a conversation in English, and they say that's enough, right? And it might be, to reach, like that level, maybe it's enough, right? But again, you want to get as high of a score as possible because it opens up all those education options. It opens up all those immigration options. And even if you go to, you go to Maple, you talk to the team and you say, I want to go study in Canada and then transition to immigration. Well, sometimes, if your language exam is high enough, you might qualify for immigration right away. And then you become Canadian. And then if you want to come here and study, you'll pay what we pay, right? What Canadians pay, which is I'm not even sure about the international rates, but I think it's pretty expensive. And then for us here, if you're a permanent resident of Canada, you'll pay what other Canadians pay, which might be 25% of what an international student would pay. So it is a good strategy again to, save money, I guess, save a lot of money, save time, and again, just keep all those options open.
Yeah, and it's a lot more kind of reassuring, knowing that you are already a Canadian resident. You don't really have to go through all the stress after your master's, having to then reapply for the PR. But having your IELTS, having a good grade on your IELTS exam, and then applying for a PR, then allows you to then go do your studies at a cheaper rate as well, which is, who doesn't want that? You're saving money while being a Canadian.
Exactly, yeah.
resident.
And especially for people with families, right? I mean, if you have, I mean, we have clients who get that high score in IELTS, and then they immigrate here with the spouse and the kids, and maybe if the kids are like 18 years old or something, the whole family, I mean, goes to school, right? Goes to university, because you're paying for the whole family what you would pay for one person usually, right? So it's yeah, it's very cool, a very good way to open doors, good way to take those first steps, and again, I mean, just to become Canadian, really.
Yeah, perfect. So I don't know if it's possible to just have for those that's still watching, if you could have like a demo just for them to have a preview of what this platform might look like, so that it's not just what they're saying, but rather what they actually get to see as well.
Perfect. Give me one little minute to organize this.
Okay. I think I've just given you access to share your screen as well. So let me know if that doesn't go through.
Okay, I'll just share my screen here.
Okay.
Okay, can we see it?
Perfect. Yes, I can see it.
Perfect. Good. Okay, so this is the website. All right. So what you're going to do then is you are going to log in over here. And so first of all, I mean, you'll talk to your Maple representative. They'll organize your account for you. The price for this, if you are from the general public, the price is 500 Canadian, but Maple, Maple cares about you. Like, they've invested in you, actually. So they're paying a huge portion of this. I don't know how the conversion works, but they're paying, I think it's more than half for you. So it's a really big investment on their side. I think companies that do this, I think it's really, really, really impressive and important. And I think it shows that they care, rather than just sort of sending you off to figure it out on your own. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is work through the reading lessons. Now, let's say you are a person who likes to live dangerously, and you say, you know what, I only have one afternoon to study, and that's it. I don't really like that. I don't think it's a good strategy, but in that case, you might just want to jump ahead to the exams and do the exam simulations. So that would be over here for the reading, for example. And you'll work through, let's say, reading exam number 1. So you've got your timer over here, and you can see it's counting down. That's just like in the real exam. So in the real exam, you have a big countdown timer in front of the room, and it will be 1 hour on the dot to answer 40 questions, just like we have here. You've got your text over here and your question type. So there are quite a few different question types in the exam. We of course have made this to really, really, really give you a fantastic lesson in understanding the exam itself, the strategies, the question types to expect, what to do in the exam, of course. And you are going to, well, answer these questions based on the text over here. So as you work through these, it's just like the real exam in that the first grouping of questions is, I don't say it's easy, but it is easier than the rest. The exam in general gets more and more difficult as you progress through the exam, just like these ones. So you're going to go and put in your answers over here and carry on. And you can see that the writing is getting heavier, right? So just like the real exam, it's getting more and more complex. The question types are getting more and more complex as well. And then the final section is the most difficult one in the reading and the listening and everything else, really. So you're going to work through this, answer these questions again. Once you're done, I'm going to click here and finish the quiz. And what was your score? Well, I didn't answer anything in this one, right? Of course, you'll answer all the questions. And what we do here is give you, of course, the band that you can expect with the number of questions that you got correct. So let's say that you are taking the general and you got 28 questions correct. So it's pretty good. It's a band 5.5. Now it depends on the program that you're looking at for immigration. Depends on the university that you're looking at as well, but you probably want to get, and what OB and the Maple team is cheering for you to get is probably up here, actually. It's probably a 7.5 really, that they're hoping that you'll get, because that opens the most doors. And for that, well, you would need 36 correct in here. So it is, when you think that the IELTS exam is maybe easy, in some ways, it can be if you have a really strong English foundation, but really, I mean, you can only get 4 incorrect answers to get that high of a score, right? So I think it's a bit of a wake-up call for some people. Now, the beauty of this system here is that after your exam, what we're going to do is take a look at every single answer you put, and we're going to analyze why your answer was correct or incorrect. What this does is helps you build that, or solidify, I guess, that foundation of English knowledge and see it in an exam context. So every single answer, we're going to explain to you why you got that one correct. Because it's important to look at the answers you got correct as well, right? Because sometimes you'll look at an answer and you'll get it correct, but you don't really know why, right? Or you just got lucky, or it was a multiple choice and you chose correctly. But it's really important to understand if you use the proper strategy or not to get that answer correct. So that is where it's not really, the IELTS lessons we do aren't really grammar lessons. We do work on, of course, that foundation of English knowledge through the analysis of the questions and, of course, through the strategies that we discuss. Okay, so that is reading. Now, what if you have time? And I hope you have time to do everything, right? That it's 60 hours. So if you can split up, if you can do 1 hour a day, perfect. You'll be in a fantastic position to get as high of a score as possible. So if we work through the lessons one by one, as you're supposed to do, and then take the exam simulations, you're going to be smiling the whole time, really, for an hour, because you will see through the questions. You're going to know why the examiner is asking you this, why this certain question type is positioned the way it is, how to really make sure that you aren't getting tricked in the answers. Because remember, if you get 4 incorrect, if you need a 7.5 in reading for general, I mean, you're in a pretty good position to do that. And 4 incorrect out of 40, it's a pretty tough thing to do, even for, I mean, standard native speakers, if you don't know the exam. So we'll go through every single lesson in here. I won't really play the whole thing for you, but oops, and that's actually where we talk about the score over here. And we will, of course, go through every single lesson step by step, because what we want to do is combine your knowledge of the IELTS exam into exam strategies that you will use on exam day. So that is reading. I won't go through all of the lessons, of course, but that would be the first step for you, is reading. Now, when you go back and you take a look over here, you can see it says here in red, we want you to do reading first. So you'll work through the reading. That will take you about 5 hours. So to work through the lessons and the 3 simulations, then you're going to move on to writing. Now, worldwide, writing is always the most difficult. So the statistics show this for our clients. It shows this as well for all of you. This is likely to be the most difficult part of the exam as well. I'm sure OB can confirm that it's pretty heartbreaking when you get somebody who has a band 7 or 7.5 in everything except writing is at a band 6.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah, and it happens all the time.
Yeah, we see it's something that we see often, especially for people who do not take any prior training before they write their exams. So that's why it is very crucial that you do, of course, when taking the training, you take it seriously, put out time, going through every single video, ensure you understand what's been said, what's been communicated, which of course maximizes your chances at having a good score all around.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, even for somebody who gets a, let's say a perfect score, let's say somebody gets a perfect score in listening, reading, speaking, and then their writing is at a band 6 or band 5.5, or there's an issue. You don't qualify for immigration. It's not the average score that they're looking at. It's the individual score within each unit. So writing is where, for our clients, it's probably where 80% of our clients really need a lot of work. So we, of course, really differentiate writing between academic and general. For reading, the strategies, the question types are the same, really. For writing, they're very, very different. So for general, we'll talk about general just a little bit here. If you're going to immigrate, you're going to use IELTS General. Well, number one is to understand, of course, what's going to happen on exam day. What do the questions look like? What's the timing that you have? What are some common kind of question types in there? And then we really work through quite a lot of lessons in writing. I'll just show you some real quick ones here. But in the index, we can see them all. And you'll see there's tons of writing here. This is all writing on the right side here. So everything in here is writing. It's more than the other lessons combined, simply because people need a lot of work in writing. The strategies you learn actually in the writing portion of the exam work into speaking, listening, and reading as well. So that's why we really focus on that section quite a bit. You will work through the different question types. You're going to really go step by step in understanding what to do when you receive a certain question type. So this one here is, well, this one's 2 hours, but I mean, the total lessons for writing are about 30 hours long just in writing, because again, it's all step-by-step strategies. You're going to show up ready to go, ready to perform, and you're going to have all the tools ready there for you. So with this one here, I mean, we're showing you all the different question types, exactly what to do in really showing the examiner that you know what they're asking you for, you know what to do. We talk about the scoring system, of course. This is just a small part of that. And like I said, I mean, the lessons are 30 hours long. I don't know if you want me to discuss it for 30 hours. I probably can, but I think we'll move on over here. But the main lesson that you should have from this is that really take that writing portion very seriously. Now in speaking, well, it follows the same idea really, in that we're going to show you what the examiners are looking for, their scoring system, how you can match your English foundation to give them what they need to give you that high score. And listening follows something similar to reading, actually, in analyzing question types, really strategizing to make sure that you aren't getting tricked or anything like that in there. And of course, really just using the tips and tricks to make sure that you're maximizing the score that you can get. Now, all of this, you'll work through everything really in 60 hours. And the focus of this is because let's say somebody, and I mean, this video will be seen by, I guess, a lot of Nigerians, and you should consider yourselves really, I mean, I love working with Nigerians with IELTS training because of that English foundation that you just naturally have. It's a lot different for somebody from China, for example, who has learned English in school or somewhere, but doesn't have really many opportunities to practice. And they need to work on their English foundation and learn IELTS strategies versus you, who, I mean, 60 hours and you're ready to go, right? So I think really consider yourselves as having this fantastic opportunity to meet those Canadian immigration requirements or academic requirements. And of course, one of those big stepping stones and one of those big tools to help you comes from Maple's partnership with us in, well, doing your IELTS training.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much for actually showcasing platform. I guess that's something you guys watching this can actually see and understand. I know that what you're going to be signing up to, it's something very, very solid, and it's definitely going to get you the results that you're looking for. Because like I said, I've seen a lot of people who think, oh, I speak English, I went to an English school and all that stuff, and then they feel they could just write the exam straight away. I mean, you could try that, but at the same time, when you have a solid training just like this, it increases your chances of getting a higher score, which makes you more attractive for immigration or applying for your studies. And then just kind of trying to wing it and just go for it. You don't really get those high scores, those 7s, those 8s, those 9s. You don't really get those. You just kind of get the middle of the park grades, 5s, 6s, and those are not really attractive grades. So, of course, as always, it's best to go reach out to us, try and find out how you could actually get access to this training, because it's something that, like Kyle said, we've actually subsidized for you guys to ensure as many people actually do take this training, because as an agency, we want to ensure that as many people as possible are able to actually fulfill their dreams of going to Canada to study, to work, or relocating there for permanent residence. So I can't wait for you guys to actually reach out to me or my team requesting for the IELTS, more information about the IELTS, because it's something you really should be. I believe anyone who sees this really should do, especially those considering traveling to Canada. It's a no-brainer, really.
Yep, that's it. I think people sometimes don't take it seriously enough when they're looking at the IELTS exam. They maybe think it's like their medical exam or something, where they show up and the doctor does their thing and then that's it. But this is one where, I mean, you can improve in 60 hours. Really, 60 hours, you're going to get as high of a score as you possibly can. So it's something that is, I think, extremely important. And for people watching this as well, if you're working with Maple, I mean, I've worked with Kenny and the team over there for quite some time now, and I mean, they're fantastic. So if you're trusting Maple Education to help you reach your Canadian dreams, I mean, we would love to be a part of this as well. And if you took the time to watch until the end of the video, I mean, I think you're already pretty invested in reaching your Canadian dream. So we're all here waiting for you. And I mean, you've got to take those first steps, and we're looking forward to working with you.
Perfect. So I think at this point, we'll probably end the video shortly. But I would just like to say one more last thing to people that are still watching and still considering, still speculating, still considering, oh, should I go for it? Should I not go for it? what options do I have? Like, so the truth is this: IELTS for anyone really trying to relocate to Canada is really worth it. Because even right now, for potential students trying to apply for either undergraduate or postgraduate, it is now a requirement for prospective students, right? So it's not just for people trying to immigrate, it's also for students as well. And like we've said all throughout this video, it increases your chances, on actually getting your permit, your study permit, or your PR, residential. So it's no brainer. My email address is going to be somewhere in the video, being played, So always feel free to reach out to myself, my team. You can always call me. The numbers on the screen, and I'm sure you would not. It's something that you would not feel was a word like you won't feel it wasn't a bad investment, because this is a good investment on your future.
Yep, I agree. And because it goes beyond just this exam, right? You're going to come to Canada and work. I mean, you have to write emails for work and that type of thing as well. So it's really, I think it kind of gives you a little boost on integration as well into the job market and into life, a Canadian life, I guess, as well. So yeah, it's a first step. It's an important one. And I mean, we've got you covered, of course. Okay, everybody. So have a fantastic day. I hope you stay motivated. I mean, it's a good time here in Canada. It's almost spring actually, so everyone's pretty excited over here again. And if you're working with Maple, it's a really good decision. I think they're just a fantastic company. They're really ethical. They can help you reach your goals. And again, I'm really looking forward to helping you reach your goals as well.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Thanks for this.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye. Okay, so like we all heard from Mr. Kyle Broda, English exam prep. This training really is something you do not want to miss out on. So feel free to reach out to us. If there's any more questions you might have, ask them, send us an email, a message, WhatsApp, SMS, whichever way you want to communicate with us, do that and we'll be sure to reply and ensure that your questions are answered, right? So thank you so much and have a lovely evening, a lovely morning or afternoon, whichever time it is you're watching this, right? So thank you. Take care.